This is live. I've never done this before using my phone, so I'd love to know if anyone out there is actually watching. Just kind of give me a thumbs up or put a comment in the chat. Let's see if I can read the chat. Let's have a look here. Community moderation, top messages. I can't see any messages in the chat, but yeah, it's a bit of an experiment, and the plan is to take you on a bit of a tour. So we'll see how that goes. uh, so let me introduce myself. I'm DJ Glenmo. Yep, the real deal. I'm back in the studio, and I'm going to be taking you on a tour, a walkabout live tour. So the idea for today is a bit of both, a bit about the behind the scenes on how I make the content for YouTube, but also about the tech here at the Smart Energy Lab. So yeah, it's going to be a very different kind of Toolbox Tech Talk, and who knows, I might even lose connection or something during it because I'm going to be walking around on Wi-Fi, so we'll see how that goes. But this is kind of like where I normally sit to record my videos, and sorry about the wonky angle. I think I haven't calibrated my my camera very well, but this is best I can do. And it's going to be sort of in this vertical format. I think that's all I can do, unless if I press this button and I can change cameras. So you can see the back camera and you can see the front camera. That looks like all the options I have. So I'll be giving you some close-up views of stuff as well. It's not just my face talking to you the whole time. So yeah, once again, welcome to Toolbox Tech Talk. It is the first day of daylight savings here in Victoria, so I bet a whole bunch of people thought it's going to be about an hour later because you've slept in, but no, it's an hour earlier. Oh gosh, it's the one thing that confuses everyone all the time is the change in daylight saving, but there you go. So let me tell you a little bit about the studio, since that's where we're going to start the tour, and then we'll walk outside into a rather windy outdoor environment and look at some of the tech, the renewable energy tech as opposed to the video tech. Yeah. So let me try this. I'm gonna put you on a little steady thing here. So I'll show you around. I'm going to change cameras so you can see what I see. So this is the backdrop for my studio, and the intent with this setup really was just to have a lot of stuff, a lot of interesting things to look at. You know, there is a real iMac there, iMac Classic, that's on loan from a friend who found it in her dad's garage unopened in its original box. It even works, but I'm a bit scared to leave it on. I'm sure the caps have failed by now. So there's a fake tool chest. Well, what's in it is all my video gear, or one of my tool chests, and of course the hero plaque from YouTube, the 100,000, and thanks to everyone who got me there, the 100,000 mark. That was pretty cool. Now I might switch back to me again. So come back to here, see how this goes. Got to get the gimbal action working. That's right. Yeah, they've got the gimbal action. Yeah, so that was a big moment for me getting to 100,000. So huge thanks to everyone out there who actually helped me get there by subscribing to my channel. And it's made a big difference because it means I get a lot more eyes, therefore the content is more valuable. And it is a way that I earn a living. You know, I have been a solar installer, but these days I'm really more about understanding how products work, doing some field testing with my electrician Anne, and doing some product evaluation, particularly when it comes to Australian standards and installation requirements. So what else we got here? We've got a what we call the Goldilocks system here. This is a special edition just for me of the SP Pro. Somehow gold makes gold, and the story behind it is that this is, I live on an off-grid community. It's Murramurra Community Cooperative. We're now 51 years old, but when we got our 50th anniversary last year, we held an event here at the Smart Energy Lab called 50 Years of Renewable Energy. And Cellectronic, who've been a great supporter of the lab, I really can't thank them enough for what they've done in terms of providing product support and also technical sort of assessments of their products, which we've done here, they made a special gold edition for me. So it's a one-off, and it's got their little 50th anniversary label on it. So this is if you're not familiar with SP Pros, this is the 482, so it's the 7.5 kilowatt unit. It's a bit of a legendary product, single phase, 7.5 kilowatts with an enormous crest factor. This unit can happily sit at 10 kilowatts, day in, day out for quite a long time. 12 kilowatts for like 30 minutes, and it can peak at 18 kilowatts for 13 seconds. So having that kind of headroom is something that is really valuable in off-grid installations, because you have appliances that come and go, and the coincidental maximum demand can be pretty high when you find that everything in the kitchen is turned on at the same time. So having that extra headroom of capacity factor is really, or crest factor is the technical term, or surge demand, more commonly called, is really useful. But another lovely thing happened on that day. So Selectronic unveiled this in a ceremony for me. They whipped off a cloth, and there it was, and everyone clapped. It was kind of cool. And then Bradley Patton, who's also been a fantastic supporter of the lab, who founded Power Plus Energy, said to me, "Glenn, how about some gold batteries to go with that?" So he got the team at Power Plus to make 10 of their latest Eco 4847P. So these are 3.8 kilowatt hour, 48 volt lithium ferrophosphate batteries, and in a lovely cabinet. So this actually runs the studio. So if the microgrid shuts down, we've still got power. We've got 40 something kilowatt hours of power. I'll put another couple in the bottom I already had, so I've got 12 batteries there. It runs the Smart Energy Lab when there's an outage now. Not that there's really ever any outages, but it's nice to have that surety, particularly when I'm doing a live like this. I want to make sure that everything is working. And if my electrician's working out at the main switchboard and she happens to flick something off, it's not the end of the world. So there you go. Now, over here, we've got our blue area. I call it the museum, actually, but I did put a lot of Victron equipment there because a couple of reasons. Victron, another amazing brand. I think they're 50 something years anniversary this year, might be 51 or 2, I can't remember. Selectronics 61, well, they're pretty cool. So Victron, one of the OGs of off-grid, and they make a huge range of products. MPPTs, inverters, they can be scaled from small to very large. They make battery chargers, they make widgets that do all sorts of special things. I mean, this is no joke. This is a DC-DC converter they make. I love the fact that it's actually just like the style of all their big stuff. And there you go. It's a little input 18 to 36 volts, output 12 volts. Pretty cool. So yeah, quite a lot of Victron stuff here, but also in terms of a museum, I've got a bit of a history here. So Plasmatronic, they were the go-to charge controller for a long time for off-grid in Australia. Not quite sure what Plasmatronic's doing these days, actually, but the PL20 and the PL40 were a really popular choice because what looks like a very simple, and it's a pulse width modulated, not PWM, pulse width modulated, not MPPT, charge controller. It suited the days where you had a nominal battery voltage of 12, 24 or 48, and your panel array was nominally 12, 24 or 48. So PWM really requires a matching of your PV voltage to your battery. Otherwise, you're getting a very poor efficiency factor. But they also make a big one. Behind it is the 60. Now, 60 meaning 60 amps of charge current, whereas the PL40, 40 amps. Inside this is a microcontroller, and it's got some digital inputs and outputs, and so it can do some really clever stuff. Here at the Miramura Co-op, we actually built a micro hydro system with solar PV, load dumps, and inverter control, and so all of it was controlled by this little unit here. So the micro hydro, controlling a load dump when the batteries were full, and also controlling the PV charging as well, particularly during dry periods when the micro hydro might not be running. Now, moving on, now this really is the OG in terms of MPPTs. This is the very first AERL maximum power point tracker. I actually had one of these back in 1991 running my home when I lived in New South Wales. They were hand built by Stuart Watkinson. Bless him, he's passed away, but his son, Peter Watkinson, now runs AERL, and they have gone on to much bigger things. But this was the first commercially available maximum power point tracker, because I remember actually upgrading from a PL60 to this, and it meant that I could start running long strings of panels. So it was great for that higher voltage input, which gives you a lot more efficiency. Over here, we've got, I'm using the word OG a lot, but it is OG, one of the very early inverters from Selectronic. They called it Inverter Power, and I had two of these running my home because you could actually connect them with a comms cable at the back and have twice the power. So this was a massive, this is a 600 watt one, but I had the massive 1000 watt modified square wave. If you want to know what that is, well, it's a bit ugly, but it's better than pure square wave. And so I had two of them, so I got 2000 amazing watts that I could run quite a few things, but not my washing machine. Just couldn't do it. Didn't like the waveform. They then started making their sine wave inverters, and so this is one of their very small sine wave inverters, the Blue Boxes series, the SC12. I had an SA32, I think it was called, the 24 volt model, which was actually dual voltage. It could do 24 or 48, and it was a 2.4 kilowatt sine wave inverter. So Selectronic were one of the first companies in the world to create a sine wave inverter. That's really, really impressive. I think SMA beat them to it. Look, they even made some really tiny sine waves. This is a little 200 watt one. Beautiful little thing. And sitting on top of here, what do you know? Something a bit more modern. This is Catch Green. So Catch Power, another great Australian company who make controllers for things like, in this case, it's a proportional hot water diverter. So it can divert so for instance, surplus solar into your resistive element of your hot water tank, or in fact, any resistive element. You could even put it into a heater if you wanted to. So one of these things I reckon should be just about mandatory if you want to save energy. Before you even think about solar in terms of a battery, put one of these in, because it turns your solar system and hot water service into effectively a battery system, because you can store energy in that hot water service. Catch Power make other products. In fact, I've got some over here. The Catch Control. Now the Catch Control, this is the previous branding. They called it the Catch Solar Relay, but actually now it's called the Catch Control, and it's got RS485 comms on top, which means it can communicate with products like inverters, etc., and do some smart stuff. So based on signaling from the inverter, for instance, if it's exporting to the grid, it can signal to the Catch Control, and the Catch Control can therefore turn on stuff because it's got a AC connection on the bottom here. I think it's rated for, is it 3 amps, something like that, so you can control a contactor with it and turn stuff on. But on top of that, this can also be used for dynamic export control. Now dynamic export control has different names in different states. So in South Australia, flexible exports; in Victoria, emergency backstop; in Queensland, more generically, dynamic export control. I'm not sure what New South Wales are going to call it, probably the same because it makes sense. But it means that this device can communicate with an agent such as the DNSP and be controlled. And so it can give you the ability to meet the requirements of the DNSP, the network power line people. Another company who also do a similar product, this is from Zico Energy, Marshall. So this also can do many of the things that the Catch Control can do, another great Australian company. So Australia's really punching above its weight when it comes to meeting the needs of a very fast growing renewable energy industry, where we're seeing the amount of solar, more than 30% of all the homes in Australia having solar now, with batteries being added at the rate of over 1,000 a day. It's pretty incredible. I just saw they said 75,000 since the 1st of July were installed under the Cheaper Home Batteries program. 75,000 battery systems. The aim is to get to 1 million by 2030. So yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, there's only 6 million freestanding homes, so that'll be like a big impact on the grid in terms of good impact, helping reduce demand for export, because export's really just a problem now for rooftop solar. It's not required. And if you're wondering about Chuppa Chup, if I have a sweet tooth, no, I don't. But Bradley Patton, bless his heart, was very, very generous. He gave us this big one because it's kind of was, well, it was, it's not anymore, one of the sort of symbols of Power Plus. I used to always throw a few Chuppa Chups in the box. But I think concerns for health and safety, well, not safety, health, maybe not such a great thing, sugar, but there you go. So what else have we got? Well, we've got a little monitoring here. See if I can sit down. Might be good. So this is SP Link, which is the software that Selectronic use to program and monitor the SP Pro inverters. And SP Link runs on a PC, so I've got a dedicated little PC sitting here, and I love playing with it. It's probably one of the most sophisticated control systems I've ever seen in an inverter. Maybe some of the really utility EMSs might do more, but this one is pretty amazing. I think it's either 300 or 600 configurable options in the software. So I used to say, don't try and describe what SP Link can do with the SP Pro. Try and describe what it can't do, because the can't is a very small, very, very small quotient. So yeah, this is SP Link. Now, if you've got sharp eyes and you've been watching some of my lives, you might have seen this weird looking panel in the background here. So that is a Tideland panel from 1984. Now, this was actually on my neighbor's house. He bought it new back in 1984. I think it cost over $1,000 for a 40-watt panel. Wow. So that's kind of tells you the story of how much solar has changed, how the efficiency of solar panels and the manufacturing of them has made them really cheap and really efficient. But yeah, these were really expensive to make. The silicon price back then was so high that they didn't want to trim the cells. So the cells, when they make the ball, which is basically the monosilicon ingot, is a cylinder, and they cut it into wafers, which therefore are circular wafers. And because those wafers are so valuable back then, they didn't trim off the sides to square them up to pack more onto a panel. It was all about just maximizing the value of those wafers. So there you go, Tideland, a US company, by the way. It's interesting to note that solar really started in the US, and it came out of the need for way back. Well, I think RCA Labs created the first solar cells in 1956, I think it was, and they cost $1.7 million a kilowatt. I don't think people even bought a kilowatt. They were used for like satellites, really special applications. But it was telemetry and navigation systems that really was the birth of solar. And so in the Gulf of Mexico, some call it the Gulf of America for some weird reason, but anyway, in the Gulf of Mexico, there's an awful lot of oil rigs, and they need navigation beacons, and they're out in the middle of the ocean. There's hundreds, if not thousands of them. It's amazing. And those navigation beacons used to be run by primary cell batteries, i.e. ones that you use once and they go flat and then you throw them overboard. And the EPA in the US got a bit grumpy about the amount of waste that was going into the ocean, and it was actually piling up so high, because these were really big primary cells, weighed heaps, and they're piling up on the ocean floor. They even became a navigation hazard. So because of navigation hazards, a solution for a rechargeable battery, and therefore a rechargeable source of energy, i.e. the sun, came about, and hence the name, Tideland. Got it? It's all about the water. So yeah, the birth of solar had a really interesting start, and then it became more prevalent to use for telemetry applications like weather stations on top of mountains, or telephone systems in remote outback Australia. And so Australia kicked in pretty soon too with remote area solar, because of our nature of our very expansive country. So there you go. Solar has a very interesting history. So I'm kind of wanting to tell you a bit about the making of my videos too, and I thought I'd just show you the setup here. Now, you probably noticed when I switched my camera around, there was a bunch of lights here. So I've got a couple of big, what we call soft boxes. They've got a grid on the front to control the light, so it comes in a collimated form out of the light source. So it doesn't spill everywhere. Now, I've got the room lights on in here so you can see well, but when I turn the room lights off, it'll just light up me, and the background will be dimmer. And what I've done is I've lit the back with blue color. This is a bit of orange teal trick from cinema, which is orange and teal are opposite on the color spectrum from our skin. So our skin is more orange, and the opposite on the color wheel is teal, a bluey color, and that means you get a really good figure ground contrast, because when you have opposite colors set next to each other, they sort of pop. So the teal sits into the rear, and the orange pops forward, which is me talking away to you. So that's a little bit of color theory about how to make a three-dimensional image from a two-dimensional shot. Another trick I have is a teleprompter. See if I can show it to you there. It says a teleprompter, and the teleprompter is controlled from a foot pedal. So I can press this little foot pedal down here. I've got it on the desk, so can I show it to you? There's a little foot pedal here, and I press the foot pedal, and the teleprompter moves. See that? So I can have a script, but sometimes I just have bullet points, so I remember to say all the right things. And behind that screen is a camera, one of the three main cameras that'll be filming when I'm making videos. So because it's effectively one-way glass. It's glass with a black curtain behind it, which makes it transparent for the camera's perspective, but I can see the reflection of the iPad, which is sitting beneath it. And I'm using an app called, funnily enough, Teleprompter, that allows me to use my foot pedal. But the app is really cool. I've got it on my phone as well, and it does voice actuation. That means I can read off the screen and the teleprompter follows my voice. I mean, AI, it's everywhere. It's just amazing. What else can I show you? I mean, some of the stuff's a bit geeky, but this is a shotgun microphone. It's not dangerous, and the reason for it is it's very directional. Basically, there's a column out the front where the sound reception is strong, and then it rejects everything to the side. So it rejects the room tone really well. But one thing it doesn't, and this is a problem with shotgun microphones, is they're bipolar. That means out the back, doesn't mean they're crazy, out the back, it also has a strong reception area, or sensitivity area. So I was having a problem here with the amount of reflection off the roof. So what I did is, see if I can do this, is show you the roof. I've put I've acoustically treated the roof. So those are sound panels made of commercial sound panels. I've got a whole bunch of them up there screwed to the roof. And then I got the whole ceiling spray foamed with expandable foam and painted black. And it's therefore has a very rough surface, and rough surface reflects audio in a random direction rather than creating standing waves. And the roof is pitched at 23 degrees, so it means there is no parallel surfaces between the roof and the floor. So that's a little bit of a trick in terms of how to stop reverberation within the room coming back to the microphone. So yeah, if you're interested in brands, it's an Australian brand called Rode. This is the NT5. Beautiful sounding microphone. In terms of value for money, you can't go better than Rode. It's a great Australian success story too. They're really a global microphone company now. Started by, I've forgotten his name, but he's quite a character, the CEO and then the owner of the company. And there's a fun story about the name. Someone said that their microphones are so good, they're like a rat going up a drain pipe or something. And so they went Rodent, so Rode, R-O-D-E, and the microphone's the NT, and you put them together and you get rodent. That's weird. And because the owner comes from I think a Scandinavian family, or maybe Swedish, they make the O into that kind of O with a slash through it, so it looks a bit European. You know, adds a kind of je ne sais quoi to any product that looks a bit European. So there you go. Let me show you my my editing suite, and also where I do most of my Toolbox Tech Talks here at this little desk here. Now, what I've got is a lot of screens, a lot of screens. Yeah. So the main screens, if I turn them on here, so is really for me for editing. So I've got DaVinci Resolve running here. I'll talk a bit more about that later on. And I might have some notes on another screen. I've also got a teleprompter up here. Now that looks like another screen, but actually behind it is a camera. So I can put my notes on that screen and be looking straight at them, and I'm looking straight down the barrel of the camera. I also have a screen for monitoring the various inputs. I've got once again, a Rode Videocaster. So the Rode Videocaster is this thing here, and it is also awesome. It's a video switcher. So I've got 4 different video inputs. You might see there's an overhead camera up here. I've got the main camera, and I also have sometimes some ancillary cameras to the side as well for different angles. And I've got some feeds from my iPad, for instance, going into it, and I can switch them just with the touch of a button. And it has a preview output here. So what we're seeing here is what they call the multi-view. So I can see the preview is on the left, and the program going out to the audience is on the right. And when I press a button, I can switch between the two. So I can auto switch between them. So I can see what's coming up next. So I preload what my next input's going to be on the left, and then I press a button and it brings it up. I can also see all the audio levels and any other effects I might have. I've got a Atomos Ninja V here. So it's a recording device as well, so I can record independently of anything else. Now, it really I have it as a backup recorder, because I can record with the Broadcaster Video Pro. I got the name right. Rodecaster Video, sorry. I can record with that because it's got a SSD attached to it. But this is my backup, because, I don't know, sometimes you kind of worry that if there's anything goes wrong with a recording, you can't do it again. So it's nice to have a backup. Of course, I've got a clock up here, which is showing the old time before daylight saving started today. So if you're kind of feeling a bit confused by the time on the clock, it's because daylight saving, I haven't adjusted it. It's not connected to the cloud. What else? So yeah, so a few things on the wall back here. So Solar Cutters have been a great supporter of the Smart Energy Lab as well, and I support them because it's all about community, the community of the solar industry. So they awarded me this during COVID, actually. So I couldn't go up on stage and collect it. They had to send it to me. But there we go, the community award from Solar Cutters. I'm very proud to have that. You might wonder what this weird thing is. No, not this little person here. Is a view camera. Now, fun fact, I used to be a photographer. It's kind of why I know a lot about this stuff, how to make images look good. And I actually had a studio in New Zealand, and I had a view camera, but this is not the one I had back then. This is actually a wooden one made by an English company that makes very low cost ones. But yeah, just like those old fashioned ones where you have huge negatives. Look at that. That's the size of the negative. That's the negative holder, 4 by 5 inches. So the resolution is insane. When you're talking megapixels, it's more like gigapixels of resolution. But they're very technical cameras to use. And of course, I can't use it for video. Though some people have tried. It's kind of weird. So there you go. Now, I'll take you over to the camera area. So we're going to have a little look at that. So I've got 3 cameras. Why 3 cameras? Well, one of the tricks of editing is if you make a mistake, you can cut it out. But if you only have 1 camera and you cut out some footage, you get what's known as a jump cut. The person 1 minute's here and the next minute's over here, and it feels weird. But if you cut to a different angle, that's the film word for another camera, a different angle, no one notices a jump cut. It just feels natural. A lot of sort of cinema stuff is really learnt behavior. We learn what to expect. And so jump cuts done to a different angle don't feel like a jarring experience. So what have I got for cameras here? I've got a couple of Blackmagic cameras. Now look, I'm on a bit of a roll here with OG Australian products. Blackmagic is an Australian company. Yep, Grant Perry started it, back in the 80s, I think. He was a boy from Bendigo who was into TV production. He even designed his first capture card for a PC so he could actually capture digitally some video, and it went on to become a company. And now Blackmagic is absolutely huge, basically a big US manufacturer of products. And so when I go to buy a new Blackmagic camera, it comes out real quick because they're actually an Australian company. I have to wait for it to come from the US. So this is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Weird name, pocket cinema camera. It's not very pocket sized, but the first one they made was kind of pocket size, and they sort of stuck with the name. And we've got a Canon lens on this thing here. This is a zoom, a 18 to 35 zoom with a matte box just to stop reflection on the lenses. And I'm capturing to an SSD externally. I've got power feeding to it, and this has a beautiful screen. These are one of the best viewing screens on a camera you can get, I reckon. So this is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. I also have the 6K Pro. So this is the 6K Pro, which is the bigger brother. Even though mostly I'm uploading in 4K, having a 6K image means I can crop in and you don't lose any resolution. So that's the 6K Pro with the matte box, with the teleprompter on top. So that's kind of the main angle. Now these two cameras are both fixed, but what I also have is one on a slider. Let's bring it around here. So a slider, what's a slider all about? Well, a slider, why don't I just start it so it starts sliding for you? A slider gives you the ability to have a little bit of movement in your what's known as parallax. So things in the foreground and things in the background actually seem to move at different or out of kilter with each other. So it feels a little bit more exciting. So adding a little bit of motion to a camera is a really nice way of improving the experience, I suppose. And with this is a iFootage Nano Shark or something I think it's called. Really nice little portable slider, and it can be programmed so you can set the start and stop angles, and then the rate that it's going to slide at. And so I've got it going back and forth continuously. In the foreground is another Ninja V. The reason for this is, and this is really something to shout out to Blackmagic about, is they now support Apple ProRes RAW. Now, if you're not a video person, you probably don't get excited by these terms, but Apple ProRes RAW is a really nice codec. It's great to edit with, but it also means I've now got 12-bit color. So that's a lot more range of color is available, but only when recording externally. So this is a Sony FX30. This is their cinema line of camera. It's very small, but it's great. It's a fantastic camera, the FX30. The FX3, the big brother, same size, but a full frame. This is the Super 35 sensor. It has an output on the HDMI, and the HDMI output goes to the Ninja V, and it then captures that in ProRes RAW. And then I can import that into DaVinci Resolve. So DaVinci Resolve is the main editing software that I use. By the way, DaVinci Resolve is owned by Blackmagic, so it's another Australian company. They actually acquired it from DaVinci, I suppose, who were the original company. So it's a fantastic story too, because DaVinci Resolve used to be only used by big cinema houses. It cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and now Blackmagic own it, and it's free for the standard version, and it costs you a one-off price, I think about $300 or $400 Australian for the studio version, which gives you 4K instead of 1080p, and it gives you more than 4K. You can go right up to 8K, whatever. But yeah, the free version's really good. The paid version just has a few more features, and it's not a subscription. It's a one-off payment. In fact, if you buy any of the cinema gear from Blackmagic, you get a free copy anyway. So if you buy a camera, you get a free copy of the studio version, and if you buy, say, their editing equipment, you get a free version as well. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So let me keep the tour going. What else have we got here? This is kind of where I kind of build my cameras. So I've got all my tools down here. So if I'm going out to do some field recording, I often use things like, I won't open it, but this is a DJI Pocket 3, and it's revolutionized handheld videography. It's small and tiny and looks like a toy. It shoots 4K, it's fully stabilized, and it's really high quality, and it does also record in log. If you're not familiar with what that means, it means it looks a bit dull when you look at it on the screen at first, because it captures the full gamut of color range. But that means once you put it into editing software, you get a lot more richness out of it by applying a LUT, a lookup table, to turn that into an image that you might want for, say, for YouTube. so like Rec 709 output. Also, I love these. The Insta360, this is the X4, I've got an X3 and an X4. There's an X5 as now, there's probably an X6 coming. But basically these are, I call them indoor drones. They film with two lenses on the front and the back. There's two lenses, I've got the rubber cover on here. And you put them on a stick, the stick disappears. So the camera knows there's a stick there and it just removes it from the image. So it looks like it's just floating in the air. And if I put it on a really long stick, I've got a 3-meter stick, and walk around with it, it just looks like I'm flying a drone behind me or in front of me. It's really cool. You can choose in the editing software what view you wanted. You don't have to think, I have to point it, in a certain direction. It just works. I also use these action cameras. I've got the DJI Action 3, Action 4. I used to have GoPros, but actually I've moved completely to DJI. I just really like their products. In fact, I'm holding a DJI gimbal at the moment, but you can't see it. Got some smaller B cams. So these are Sony ZV E10, the ZV E10. These are really affordable. You could almost call them cinema quality. They are an APS-C, quite small sensor, but they shoot in 4K, and they look great. And because they're small and APS-C sensor, they take lower cost lenses. The bigger your sensor, the more expensive your lenses get. So these are really great as an entry point for videography. I use one as my overhead camera at my desk over there. This is one I use when I just need a B cam and something small when I'm out and about. So that's it. Now the other thing I like to use is a microphone. Yeah. So this is, I'm not going to use the word OG because Rode is already OG'd, but this is a Rode Interview Pro. Now, if I take the little fluffy thing off the top there, you can see it, there we go. That's a Rode Interview Pro. Now, what's special about this? Well, for a start, it looks like a real microphone because it is. It looks great. It's got great sound. So those are the two key things, I reckon. It looks good and it sounds good, but it's also got internal recording. So I don't even need to have a wireless transmitter connected to it. It records internally using 32-bit float recording. Now, 32-bit float is a big deal, and it's starting to come to a lot of recorders now. Normally, recorders were recording in 24-bit, and that's not enough information to cover the perspective range of levels that can occur between quiet and loud. And so if I go, yeah, into this really loud, and it was 24-bit, I'd hit the limit of its ability to record that level, and you get distortion. But with 32-bit, you've got an enormous range of sound. So you don't need to set the levels anymore. You can actually set a level on this, but you don't need to, because you can just drag the levels up in the post-production and get it to where you want, and there's no distortion. So I call it sort of, worry-free recording. So there you go, the Rode Interview Pro. And it does communicate with the Rode Go 2s, Rodecaster Pro 2, and a few of the other devices. So you can actually wirelessly connect it to some of the Rode products and put a receiver on your camera so you can transmit straight to your camera. But I actually just use a simple clap to synchronize. So I do a clap, it puts an audio spike on the track and a visual spike on the camera, and you can line the two up visually in the editing software, or you can use in DaVinci Resolve. It has an auto align function. It will automatically listen to your scratch audio from your camera and the audio from your quality mic and line the two up perfectly. So yeah, don't really need to use the link to the camera. Okay, so maybe I'll just about finish with all the camera tech here over here. So this is where all my tripods live, my hard cases. I've got drones, got a couple of big gimbals for balancing heavier cameras, some soccer balls, you always need those. Yeah, I've got 2 teenage kids who are into soccer, so there's always a soccer ball somewhere. In fact, they're also into basketball, so there we go. And lights. So, I've got my studio lights that I'll take out on site for recording as well. So there, green screen. Bit of a mess that is. So let's just have a look at some of the renewable energy tech. So I'm going to take you into where it all started back in 2015 when I started teaching here. I used to teach students from TAFE and also run just professional development courses in this room here. Now this room we call T1, training room number 1. In fact, we've covered up the label because it used to be up here. I put some sound absorbing in here, this room, because my son was using it to practice drumming for a while, so it was a bit loud. So what you got in the back here is a system that one of my students built. Shout out to Reese Kennedy from Total Solar Solutions. When he was getting his off-grid license, he needed to do a case study, and so he did it here at the Smart Energy Lab and built this AC-DC coupled system. I love AC-DC. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Yeah. Well, this is not a dirty deed. This is a fantastic deed. Let me run you through it. So if I come around this way, the light's a bit better. It's a Victron Fronius system. So we've got the Victron Quattro inverter here. So the Quattro is a pretty solid unit. This is a 5 kilowatt unit, or 5,000 VA to be specific. And it was installed before 5139 came out, so we actually have a legacy battery isolator down here. These are no longer kind of considered kosher, so we have a legacy battery isolator. You've got to use IP23 or better these days. We've got one of the very first color controllers. I think these are probably one of the best interfaces for end users. They're very visual, really easy to understand. Little moving lines showing the flow of energy, and there's a bunch of batteries. Now these are an American battery from a company called Simplify. Now Simplify actually have been around a long time, I think 2006 or something like that, and these are their 48 volt lithium ferrophosphate batteries. I've got 3 of them, and they actually come with a wall mounting bracket, so you can just stack them up on the wall here. Each one of these is 3.4 kilowatt hours, and they're all connected in parallel, so we've got roughly 10 kilowatt hours of lithium ferrophosphate. Unfortunately, they don't really comply, as they do just have simple rubber covers over the top here, so you'd have to have double insulation on these now, because it's not really kosher. Then we come over to the Victron MPPT. Now Victron make a whole range of MPPTs. The numbering system tells you the maximum input voltage, in this case 150 volts, and the maximum output current, in this case 60 amps. So it's connected to a 48 volt battery, though it can do 12, 24, 36 and 48 at 60 amps. So this is 40 amps at 60 amps is its charge capability, and it's connected to an array on the roof. Little note here, they do make a cover to go over these terminals, because you do need to have IP2X on any exposed LV parts, and this would be above 60 volts, and therefore you would need to protect from touch those terminals. We've got a very odd Fronius Galvo here. So Galvo is their galvanically isolated inverter, and this is the 1.5 kilowatt Galvo. It's the smallest, well, I don't know if it's the smallest, but it's pretty small, 1.5 kilowatt inverter, but physically the same size as the 4 and the 4.5 and the 5 and the 6. They're all the same size. Amazing. But it's AC coupled to the Quattro. So we've got a combination of DC coupling and AC coupling on this wall. And the switchboard for it over here. So here's our switchboard. We have a catch control in here as well. It's the older version called the Catch Solar Relay, and it controls one of these socket outlets here, really just for testing, showing that we can switch stuff on and off using the Catch Solar Relay. On the other side of the room is my 3D printing lab. So doesn't everyone do 3D printing these days? I'm a bit of a newbie at it. Actually none of these are mine. My neighbor has got so many 3D printers, he had to put some in my lab. So I've been learning how to make stuff. But you know, one of the amazing things about having a 3D printer is you can think of something, you can get out a CAD program, you can design it, you can send it to the printer and make it, and you don't have to leave home. So it's great for, you know, small projects. I mean, the bed size, and this one's only 260 mils square, but we have a bigger one here, the Chidi, that's the Creality. The Chidi has a 305 millimeter bed, and it's quite high. I think it goes 280 mils high, so I can do quite big products in here. In fact, I think the last thing I printed were some Evo 2 disconnection tools, because we actually couldn't find our Evo tools to disconnect a PV connector, and so I just jumped onto Thingify, found one, sent it to the printer, printed them out, and there you go. So saved the day having a 3D printer. Yeah, there's also my electronics bench here. I used to be an electronics technician. Yeah, that was actually my first job when I left school, working in telecommunications. And so an oscilloscope, I just kind of feel like at home. It's sitting in front of me. I love to look at waveforms and understand how things work. So this is my little project bench where I make stuff. Yeah, so 3D printing world, electronics bench, and let's move out of here. Now this is not tech, but this is what we call the green room. It's where, because I have a lot of visitors come here, and just so they can be comfortable while we're getting ready to do an interview or something, they sit in here and have a cup of coffee, cup of tea, something more stronger beverage if it's a Friday afternoon. And yeah, so that's the green room. If you wonder what the term green room is, because it's not green, it comes from theatre. For some reason, where you sit before you go on stage is called a green room. There you go. That's kind of fun. My son plays piano, my youngest, so this is his piano. There we go. I used to play guitar. I haven't got it out of its box for so long, it's got a bit dusty. And I've got another little workbench over here for just kind of simple jobs, a few tools where I can build things. And down under here, portable power stations. There's only one here at the moment, but normally there's 4. I've got a lot of portable power stations. They're so useful. All my neighbours keep borrowing them to take them in for a tour. They go camping, take a portable power station. Or I've got one from APS, which is an amazing portable unit. I wouldn't even call it a portable power station. It's basically a portable generator that doesn't use fuel, it uses a battery. And it can deliver 18 kilowatts of power peak through a 15 amp socket outlet. So it can run some big stuff, and you can pick it up with one hand. So it's out with my neighbour who's doing some welding at the moment. So that's pretty cool. What else can I show you? Yeah, I think I showed you all this here. I like to be a bit organised, so I've got like audio gear in one level. Don't you have enough USB cables? All USB cables here. I've got all my small grip, things that hold onto things, tapes, etc. Small camera batteries and monitoring equipment. And filters. There we go. So, got to be organised. Now let me take you outside. We're coming close to the top of the hour, which I'm going to finish at the 1 hour mark. So I'll take you outside and just show you a little bit of the Smart Energy Labs, because I have done that tour before, so I thought I'd do something different this time. And incidentally, behind me is our board that we keep track of what systems are connected to our microgrid. So we have a lot of systems here. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? Yeah, and it's dynamic, so they keep changing. So we keep a little board there that we draw what's connected to what. So it makes it easy to understand the setups. Okay, so out here is the microgrid room. So this is a Cellectronic SP Pro power chain, and there's 6 of the 482 inverters here. Bless Cellectronic for supplying these. They actually have used it as a test site too. They've often put some firmware that they want to, before they release it in the wild, they'll test it out here. So I get a call from the boss. He might say, "Glenn, do you mind if we restart those inverters?" I go, "No worries, mate. Go for it." So this is effectively 45 kilowatts of continuous power. It'll peak at 90 kilowatts for like 30 minutes and even more than that for 30 seconds. So it's pretty grunty, and it forms a 3-phase stable grid to which all of the other systems connect. And we've got over 20 inverters at any one time on the microgrid, including 7 homes, 9 EV chargers, 2 DC fast chargers. In fact, if I give you a quick peek behind me, that's my house behind me, and my neighbour's house is over there. But there's actually 7 homes in a close proximity. We are an off-grid community, so we don't have any fences, and we're all on one property, so we can dispense power between houses. And they all have their own systems, their own solar and batteries. I mean, this house has 17 kilowatts of solar, 40 kilowatt hours of batteries, but it's connected to the microgrid as a way of spilling the surplus, and also the deficit can be drawn from the microgrid. I'm being a little bit rushed here because we're running out of time, but this is the Power Plus energy test rig. So we've got a couple of generations of their batteries here with their own monitoring gear up on the top there. And so that's 152 kilowatt hours of nominal 48 volt, or 52 volt to be more precise, lithium ferrophosphate batteries, which are connected to the SP Pros. And so this whole system, like I keep saying, forms a stable grid. It's known as a voltage source, to which all the other systems synchronize. It's my little e-scooter. And here's some unboxings that I'm doing, or also we've got some install videos for Fox ESS. You might see those on my channel already. I've done a few. Every week there's something new coming in here. In fact, what do you know? Here's one of them right here. This was a project for Fox. We did a video on this. I think it'll be released very soon. This is the 15 kilowatt hybrid. So it's a 3-phase 15 kilowatt inverter with 42 kilowatt hour stack of batteries. Now, let's see if I can get far enough away so you can see. It's really small. So that little stack there is 42 kilowatt hours of batteries. They're high voltage, so each one connects in series to the next one. And this system, so that and that, run my editing suite. Not the one in the studio. I've got another editing suite. I might show you that another day. Bit of a walk to go or to the other editing suite, but yeah, it runs that. So I'm really big on backup. On this side, what have we got here is a older system. This is the BYD HVM. So this is a high voltage BYD battery with the Gen 24 hybrid inverter. Both great products. This BYD is a fairly older unit now, so it's only 11 kilowatt hours, but these could go up to 22 with a taller stack, and you can have multiple stacks. And the Fronius Gen 24, really popular inverter in Australia. It has the PV point option, which is really interesting. When there's no grid and there's no battery, but there is solar, you can energize this socket outlet. Do you get that? No battery, just solar, and no grid, and you still have AC power. That's the PV point. Pretty cool feature. A 3-phase Victron system with some super caps. I'm going a bit faster here. 3-phase Fronius Simo, some legacy batteries here from Redflow. When I say legacy, unfortunately the company has gone bankrupt, and these are no longer in use, which is a real shame because they're a great Australian product which just didn't quite make it through the valley of death with a new design. I'm going to take you out somewhere special. I'm speaking real soft now because this is a little bit exciting. This is what we call the big, beautiful battery. Let me take you out here. Okay, this is definitely big. So this is 800 kilowatt hours of Pylontech power cubes. And this is only 1/3 of these batteries that we have. So we've split the batteries up around 3 sites on the property. So this is AC coupled to the microgrid, and it's effectively our main energy storage. So each of these is a 750 volt, I think it's up to 750 volt stack, and there's 8 stacks of these batteries. Now this room is authorized access only. It's got a padlock. You can't come in here, so you're lucky to see this because there's a lot of voltage here and a lot of current. So this system is connected to an inverter that we're testing at the moment, which is the Solis 50 kilowatt hybrid. Now I've made a video about this and I've raved about it, but I'm really impressed what Solis have done here. They've made an inverter that's really powerful, really feature rich, very cost effective. I mean, the price of these is amazing. It's got 3 AC ports. It's got grid port, backup port, and smart port, which can be used for a generator or controlled loads, or AC coupling another inverter. So 3 AC ports. It's got 2 high voltage battery ports. So it's got a battery port 1 and battery port 2. So I've split up the Pylontech batteries into 2 groups. So it's 4 racks on one input and 4 on the other. The unit has a nice big color display. See, I can bring you in a little bit. Look here. So have a little closer look at it, and it shows you what it's doing. And we've got about 70 kilowatts of solar connected to this. It's got 4 MPPTs with 8 inputs, so you can get quite a lot of solar onto it. So this 50 kilowatts of AC power and 50 kilowatts of DC charge. So if you put about 100 kilowatts of solar on this unit, you can charge your battery at 50 and you can invert at 50. So it can do a lot of work. That's really, really, really impressive. So yeah, this is the great big battery, great big beautiful battery. And over here we've got something much smaller, but I reckon equally impressive, is the Anker Solix AC coupled battery. They come in both the DC coupled and AC coupled variant, and really, from my opinion, it's one of the most beautiful looking residential energy storage units going. I like the styling. There's a little light that comes on. This unit's actually in standby at the moment because we haven't got anything connected to it. But see how it lit up when I approached, and the screen comes on. So it's got a sensor, a motion sensor, so it sort of responds to you, and a little ambient light comes up along the bottom there. That's really nice. And yeah, I think that's all the inverters we've got there. We've got quite a few which are being taken off the wall, but we don't throw stuff out here, we repurpose it. So these are some of the products which we've already done testing of, and we're now going to repurpose them onto some of the homes here at Murumuru Co-op. So everything kind of gets used. It's not a throw it in the bin when you finish testing it kind of regime. It means that we also get to experience how they really work. So I'm going to padlock this again, stop any unauthorized access coming in here. There we go. Now, if I've got time, I think I have a few more minutes before we finish, I'm just going to show you the system of my house. Now, I've made quite a few videos about this product, but I'm still really excited. It's the SIG Energy Scigen Store. Now, SIG Energy is a relatively new company by name, but by experience, they came from Huawei. So the head of SIG Energy, Tony Zhu, was the head of Huawei's solar division for over 10 years. So they know what they're doing. And a lot of the staff are from former Huawei. So they're basically brought with them a lot of the knowledge and skills that the biggest inverter company in the world, Huawei, has developed, and they've come up with a new product. In fact, they've even got another product out, Scigen Stack, which you'll probably see in a later video. So this unit here, the controller at the top is what they call it, actually is an inverter. It's DC coupled, so it has, this is a 10 kilowatt variant, but they come in this size, in this form factor, this controller in 5 kilowatts through to 30 kilowatts, single and 3-phase options. So it's a 3-phase 10 kilowatt unit. This is the DC fast charger, which at the moment is actually fast charging my partner's EV at 25 kilowatts. And it's bi-directional. Well, if Hyundai allowed it to be used, that means the car's battery to be used, we could run our house using this DC fast charger, bi-directional. And we've got 4 of the 8 kilowatt hour battery modules, so 32 kilowatt hours of storage. You can have up to 6, so you can get 48 kilowatt hours in one stack, and you can have just about infinite number of stacks. I mean, I saw a system in South Africa where there was 4.2 megawatt hours of Scigen Store. Yeah, running a factory. I think there's 96 of them. It's pretty impressive. This is the gateway. The gateway is kind of the brains of the SIG Energy system. So it's got its own little controller inside here. It's got some contactors and breakers, and it's where you can bring in other inverters. So you might have an existing solar inverter. You can AC couple it in here. And it means you can do whole house backup too. This is very capable of whole house backup. So anyway, there's a very quick tour of just some of the systems at the Smart Energy Lab. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I didn't get overboard with all the camera tech, because I did talk a lot about video making, but I thought some of you would be interested in how I make my videos. So anyway, until next Sunday, 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time, I'll check out. See ya.